got the better of Buxton. Puts it into an area. Keogh, Zamora! Unbelievable! Company. Coutinho! Liverpool lead again! Damian trying to close him down. Sanchez going, oh no! Pick that one out! It's 3 inside 20 minutes.
Hello and welcome to the Ninjas Wire Podcast episode 5. I'm Jake Wheels-Hobson.
And I'm Dan Godfrey. Plenty to talk about this week, including the draw for the European Championships.
Also, another bad week for Jose Mourinho and Louis van Gaal. Plenty to talk about in terms of Football League as well, as we're joined by Thomas Leach, a Coventry City fan. So another strange week in the Premier League then, boys. Obviously shocks all around again. Bournemouth beating Manchester United, biggest shock of all you could say, and obviously informed Leicester beating Chelsea on Monday night as well. How long can this continue, Dan?
With Leicester, I really can't see an end to it in a minute, just because of their confidence. I don't see how all of a sudden Ranieri's side are just going to end up sort of making a case for themselves to be ignored. I think they're really staking a claim for the top four now, and the worst thing as far as Chelsea is concerned, most people had Leicester down as favourites, and like this time last year, Leicester were bottom of the league and Chelsea were top, and now Chelsea are 16th and Leicester are top. So it shows how quickly things can change. As for Bournemouth, they put in a really controlled performance. They did what needed to be done, and fair play to Harry Arter as well, who played out like a few days after losing his baby daughter. So and obviously he put in a great performance. 86 minutes he played for, and United just weren't at the races, and it puts Van Gaal deeper into the mire. It's interesting what he's going to do, because he's got a really patched up side at the minute. Yeah,
and obviously another big shock, as we were talking about then with Bournemouth. So we've got Tom in today, who's a Coventry City fan, but at the moment we're going to talk about the Premier League. And first of all, I just want to ask you, do you think Bournemouth have shown enough over the past 2 weeks, obviously beating Manchester United and Chelsea? Do you think they can stay up in the Premier League?
I think every season these relegation teams go on these kind of runs. It's very Premier League that their 2 wins are going to come against Chelsea and Manchester United. I think Blackpool went on a few runs like this and they went down. Hull had a fantastic start to the season.
Yeah, they did. Charlie Wim obviously inspired it.
I think it's impossible to predict right now.
Yeah,
I think they can do enough. I mean, injuries are huge for them, with players like Callum Wilson out, Max Gradle out. Yeah, another one. Yeah, of course. But you've got to look at it at the table at the minute. Obviously, Aston Villa are pretty much signing themselves off as Premier League quality at the minute. Another defeat at the weekend. Obviously, a good result for you, Dan, as being an Arsenal fan.
Yep.
Do you think Arsenal can now, obviously teams around you dropping points again, do you think Arsenal can push on and claim top spot again at Christmas?
It was a good week again for Arsenal. It all depends. Arsenal are the only side to beat Leicester this season, went there and won 5-2, which sort of outlines weaknesses that Leicester are vulnerable to. So Arsenal can probably try and pick up on that. But as for Christmas time, it would be good to be top of the league, but I think the main focus is just getting players back and getting a decent run of results together. Even if we're behind Leicester or Man City or both before Christmas, then it doesn't matter too much, as long as we can just sort of maintain the consistency, because I can still see Leicester dropping off to about the 4th or 5th mark in the next couple of months.
Yeah, of course. And Tom, obviously more teams dropping points this weekend, Tottenham being one of them, Liverpool as well, Tottenham being beaten by Newcastle in the last minute and Jose Perez goal, and Liverpool obviously scraping a draw in the dying embers as well. Do you think Manchester United are going to stay in the top 4, or do you think some teams are going to challenge it and push them out of it?
I think if you'd have asked me that 6 weeks ago, I'd have said United are going to be a top 4 side, but they've not looked the same lately. No, I mean, the fans aren't happy with the style of play at all. He patched up the defence this season somehow without making any big signings. Everyone thought he needed to bring in a Hummels or
Smalling's been outstanding, hasn't he?
He's had it, and he's going to. I think he should reach the armband for the England team, really. In the Euros.
He'll be up there, won't he?
Somehow he's fixed that, but with the attackers they've got in the squad, for them not to be scoring goals is crazy.
Well, we touched on it the other week about how he's put so much weight on the shoulders of such a young lad. Obviously, Martial's like the main striker. So much pressure on his shoulders. Rooney's obviously not firing. He's not really been in the team recently. But where are they going to find that firepower from? Are they going to have to invest in January, or do you think that they're just going to have to hope for the best.
I don't think it was Van Gaal's intention to put that pressure on Martial.
No.
He's been trying to build for the future now since he's been there. I don't think Martial was ever going to be a starting player. I think they do need to buy in January, but who can they get in? Aubameyang's linked hugely with them.
Well, it's a strange one, isn't it? Because you've got to look at the players that they've let go recently. Obviously, Hernandez weren't really doing very well at United last season, and that's why they let him go to Bayer Leverkusen. But he's been on fire in the German league. And obviously, another one is James Wilson, who's been in and around the team from the youth academy, who's gone to Brighton, and he's scoring as well. So he's kind of shot himself in the foot with it. Dana, I want to ask you a quick question. Obviously, still early on in the season, Jamie Vardy's been in superb form, but who do you think is going to take the Golden Boot this year?
Golden Boot. To be fair, with the injury, if Vardy can stay fit all season, I can see him picking it up now. To be honest, I think it's about time. I just sort of showed that a little bit more respect towards him, because I keep on thinking, Aguero. But I mean, he struggles to stay fit, and if Vardy can stay fit with Leicester keeping the relative form that they've had, even if they will drop off a bit, I can still see Vardy scoring plenty of goals.
And do you think if Vardy can continue this form, he'll deserve a place in the Euro 2016 England squad?
Oh, without a doubt. I mean,
the competition is going to be very strong come the
it will be.
team.
I mean, Sturridge has been unfortunate with injuries.
Yeah.
Harry Kane, there's no doubt in his quality. Rooney
will obviously be
Tottenham doing well. Yeah, Rooney's nailed on. People will have their arguments about that. I mean, he's only scored 2 this season, and Vardy's got 15 in the league. So, I mean, that kind of says it all. But Rooney is a nailed-on captain.
And obviously, from an Arsenal point of view, you've got Danny Welbeck to come back from injury. Do you think that's the end of his England chances, especially in terms of big major competitions?
Definitely for the Euros, he won't be in the squad. He hasn't played for nearly a year now, which, not quite a year, about 9 months he hasn't played for, which is really unfortunate for his progress, because he's still only 25. But I think, to be honest, his England career isn't over yet.
Yeah, and obviously talking about the Euros there, obviously the Euro draw happened on the weekend.
Yep.
And quite a good draw for England, I must say. I'm quite confident in our ability to top that group, obviously being grouped with Russia, Wales and Slovakia. At the time when Wales came into the group, there was a lot of obviously panic about Bale and the rest of it, and Ramsey, but I think we'll have the strength to beat Wales. Tom, do you think we'll top our group?
I'd like to think so. I think if we had the squad Wales had, we wouldn't be confident.
No.
I think we look at it and we just see Bale and we just see Ramsey, who's not had a great season really. He had a good weekend.
Yeah, not a bad weekend.
Yeah. But past that, I mean, there's Ashley Williams, then you're looking at players like Joe Ledley and Hennessy that
squad players,
wouldn't ever challenge the England squad.
Yeah, that's true.
I
don't think Ramsey would get into the England team.
Not this season, he wouldn't.
No, I don't think he'd get in anyway. I think we've got too strong of a side. I think Bale obviously a walk-in. But other than Bale, it was basically.
You don't think Ramsey would get into?
I don't think he would.
I think 2 years ago he would.
I don't think he. No, I don't think he ever would.
I know 2 years ago he definitely would. Personally, I mean, the form that he was in, it's just all about getting that consistency back. He's been playing.
I don't rate Aaron Ramsey.
He's been playing on the right
as much as obviously he had a massive downfall when he broke his leg as a kid, but he came back, he bounced back, and he was a good player for about 6 months, and I admit that. But he seemed to have just built his career at the minute at Arsenal around that strong 6 months that he had about 2 years ago.
I'll take your point, to be honest, but Arsene Wenger tends to play him on the right-hand side just to be able to improve his control of the ball, and now he's putting him back in the middle, he's getting goals and he's getting assists, and I think now Arsenal fans are hoping that he can replicate that, and obviously Welsh fans definitely. I mean, he's nailed on as a centre mid there.
Yeah, well, I've got a question for you, Dan. Obviously, coming away from the Euros, just for a quick second, do you think a fully fit Arsenal side with no injury problems would have Aaron Ramsey in the starting 11?
I think they would, just because it suits Arsenal's style of play. It might not be the...
Who would miss out?
Who would miss out? Well, a fully fit starting 11, I think, would have to have Coquelin as a defensive midfielder. That's nailed on, and Cazorla alongside him.
Yeah. So does that mean you'd miss out with Ozil, Sanchez,
Jack Wilshere?
Jack Wilshere, yeah.
I would have to put Ramsey on the right hand side, because he can still do a job there getting forward.
Right hand side.
Yeah.
You just said that he was struggling on the right hand side.
It's not that he was struggling; it's that it's not his best position. But I would still.
But if you can get the best out of a different player, i.e., an Oxlade-Chamberlain or a Walcott, then surely you'd want to play a right hand side.
At the minute, I'd prefer Ramsey ahead of Oxlade-Chamberlain.
Like that. Well, swings and roundabouts. We'll see come the Euros anyway. I think England will put Wales to bed, no problem.
So
as long as we keep Bale quiet, which obviously we're playing on the left-hand side, which might mean that Nathaniel Clyne's got his biggest game to date in an England shirt. If it is Clyne in the squad come the Euros, obviously he's got competition with Kyle Walker that's not doing bad at the minute. Dan, do you think we'll win all three?
It's England, so I'm not sure we'll win all three, but I do think we'll top the group. When you look at Russia, they're a potential banana skin. They're a bit of a yo-yo side. They have some outrageously good and bad results. Remember them at Euro 2008, they made the semi-finals. Arshavin was the hero.
Yeah.
That helped get his move to the Premier League as well. They knocked out Holland. I remember they had a very good tournament then. Wales, as we just mentioned, keep Bale quiet. I think we've done half the job, but obviously that's what Wales are going to thrive off, underestimating their bit part players. And Slovakia should be sort of put to bed material, but they're at the Euros for a reason.
Yeah, I mean, we've got to look at it in the terms, the way that we went into the World Cup was Costa Rica was an easy 3 points. It's just whether we could beat Uruguay and Italy, and as it turned out, Costa Rica obviously topped the group, and we couldn't even get past them, drawing 0-0. So we've got to go into it with the right attitude this time, and to do that, I think we've just got to respect the teams that are in the league, in the group with us. I think Russia are going to be a tough team to beat. I think we will beat Wales because I think Wales will rise to the occasion. However, I think we'll just be a bit too strong for them. And Slovakia, can you name 3 Slovakian players? It's a tough one, isn't it?
That is difficult, yeah, and that's no disrespect. That's just, I mean, they're normally the sides that be in our qualifying groups at Wembley.
But was it Slovakia that beat Italy in the 2010 World Cup? Sure, they beat them 3-2.
I think the only Slovakian players on it were Serbian.
Yeah.
I think you're right there. I think
Slovakia
I can recall that just about.
Yeah, I'm sure Slovakia can spring a surprise. Obviously, as we have a quick look onto the Sky Bet odds for it, England are favourites. The 5 to 6 favourites to top our group, with Russia 10 to 3 and Wales 4 to 1.
So it's interesting there. So basically, the bookies think Wales will finish 3rd and Slovakia will finish 4th. So they're underestimating Slovakia, I think, a little bit.
Yeah.
Because as for big tournament experience, Wales haven't played in one since the 50s. So,
but Wales have shown signs in qualifying that they have got the quality.
Oh, definitely, yeah. I mean, the top in their group isn't to be sniffed at. Yeah, they beat Belgium, didn't they? I just think against, I think at the Euros they might play the occasion a little bit, and Chris Coleman will try and drum it into them not to do that. But I think Slovakia just have that big tournament experience that Wales don't necessarily have.
Yeah, and obviously looking a bit further afield, if we do top the group, then we'll get the 3rd place in Group A, which could be either Switzerland, Romania, Albania or France. You'd expect France to be in the top 2, no problem. Switzerland probably takes 2nd, which means either Romania or Albania. Do you think we'll ease past that type of team, Tom?
We should do.
Yeah, we should do on paper, I agree.
Yeah, we really should do. But I think Costa Rica was a great example.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
In international tournaments, sometimes you get these sides who should be whipping boys, but they're always a stumbling block for someone like us.
Yeah.
We've never really gone to a tournament and performed. I think we were talking about the 2004 squad on the way in today.
Yeah, beforehand we were talking about Euro 2004 and obviously the Sol Campbell goal. They got disallowed when we were so close to the semi-final, and we ended up going on to lose on penalties. That's probably the closest we've got in a Euro since '96 to a big final. But yeah, I honestly rate our chances. We're 4th favourite overall, behind France, Germany and Spain, which was to be expected. We're joint 4th favourite with Belgium. Italy are ranked 16 to 1, but they always seem to turn it on in style for the big tournaments.
The tricky thing for Italy is the side of the tournament that they're going to fall on. For them to win it, they have to get past France and Germany in either the quarters or the semis. That's why they're so low down.
I mean, England have potentially got to get past Spain, so that's the big one for us.
The weird thing about England is I think a team like Austria or Croatia will tend to fear something like Spain.
Yeah,
I think we can step up to.
That's what I mean.
Which is bizarre.
We've shown in friendlies. I know friendlies are games that you can just say, you can push them aside and say, they mean nothing. This, and this. But I think we perform in friendlies. If we perform in the way that we do in friendlies at a European competition or even a major competition like the World Cup, I think we can beat these type of teams. We've shown enough that we can beat or we can stay on par with the likes of Brazil and Spain. We beat Spain not too long back.
We've got good form against Spain.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Obviously, we got beat by them 2-0 not long back. The first time we'd lost in...
I don't really think we deserve to lose that too much.
Something like that.
I don't think Spain are the force they were at all.
No, obviously they've still got the squad, but you look at the team that they decide to play in the qualifiers, and they've got players in there that the average football fan probably wouldn't have heard of. Obviously, it's the same for Spanish people looking at our side and thinking, who's Dele Alli and who's Nathaniel Klein, but they're your players coming through that you can't underestimate. They're the players that are going to spring a surprise at this type of tournament. Who do you think is going to be the player of the tournament? I'm going to ask you, Dan, first, and I'll move on to you, Tom.
Player of the tournament? Well, I think...
Do you think the stage is set for anybody?
I think the stage is set probably for a team in particular, and I think that team's France. I think obviously it might just be a sort of state of the obvious, easy thing to say because they're hosting it, but I mean, when they're rated not very well in the last few years, I mean, 2010 World Cup, they crashed out in the group, and like their major tournament record hasn't been fantastic of late. So now all of a sudden they're hosting it and they're favourites.
Yeah, but you've got to remember the last time they hosted a major tournament, they won it, 98.
Yep.
So that's a good omen as well.
I think that helps their cause with the bookies a little bit. But I think it's really set for a younger sort of thriving player like Griezmann, an exciting player.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah,
I think that could potentially get him to the Premier League.
I think Pogba will be a massive player if he's on form. I think Pogba will be the player of the tournament. And what about you, Leach?
I think the stage is set for France and for Pogba, but I can't look past the Germans.
Yeah.
I think Thomas Muller. I think this is it. I mean, looking there, he's favourite to take the Golden Boot.
Yeah.
He's always there or thereabouts. He's been a fantastic player ever since 2010.
Yeah.
And I can't really look past him. Anyone else to play of the tournament.
And obviously we're looking at the Golden Boot odds now. Lewandowski's in there as well as fourth favourite. Do you think Poland will do well, or do you think they'll struggle to get out of the group? Obviously, if you look at the groups now, the teams that...
They're in Germany's group.
Yeah, they're in Germany's group. Do you think that they'll get out of that with Ukraine and Northern Ireland in there? Obviously, Northern Ireland, they might look at that as think, an easy 3 points like we have with Slovakia. But
Northern Ireland will have a look at that and think we could have had it a lot worse. Obviously, we spoke to Ben, didn't we, when they after Northern Ireland qualified a few weeks ago, and he was sort of anticipating the group, and he was annoyed that they were in the last pot, despite having topped their group, and Hungary were in pot 3 and they went through the playoffs. But yeah, Northern Ireland. I think Germany will ease through that group. I don't think there'll be any surprises there. But Ukraine and Poland, I think Northern Ireland can look at that and have some hope.
Yeah, well, we discussed during the draw when I was watching it what could be the group of death, and looking at it, I'd say potentially Group E might be the group of death. Belgium, Italy, Republic of Ireland, and Sweden. Now, only 2 can go through from that group. Obviously, we've seen Republic of Ireland pull off shocks. We know Sweden can perform at big tournaments. Italy always seems to turn it on. I know that they're not quite the team that they used to be, and obviously Belgium are tipped joint 4th favourite for the entire trophy. So, out of that group, Tom, who do you think is going to make it through and why?
It's hard not to say Belgium and Italy.
Yeah.
I don't think Sweden have got the quality, and I don't think Ireland have got the quality. Do
you think it'll be Ibrahimovic's last major tournament?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it will be.
So would that not make it much better for Sweden to go out on a high?
I think it would going into it, but I don't think they're going to have the quality to get past the Italians or the Belgians.
And Dan, do you think Republic of Ireland will win any game?
I think they'll beat Sweden if they're lucky, and I think we're just sort of looking at it as if to say, I know it might sound like we're just sort of not, we're sweeping any potential shocks under the rug a little bit, but we're not. Belgium and Italy are two. I mean, Belgium are so up and coming. They're so, like, in the last few years their world rankings it's shot up, and everyone's really started to take notice. Some of their players they got world class. We can say what we like about Hazard, but he'll probably perform really well. De Bruyne's world class.
Yeah, De Bruyne's brilliant.
And Benteke and Lukaku, what form he's in. And then you go to Italy, who, as you mentioned, I don't even need to say anymore. Their tournament record is fantastic.
Seconds and on,
Isn't it strange though that we look at England-Wales and we say, yeah, we could beat Wales, and then we look at England-Belgium, let's say, and we don't think we could beat Belgium.
Yeah, even though
Wales put Belgium aside.
Yeah. Yep. It is. That's just the beauty of international football. You have to go back, obviously 12 years is it now? God, yeah, nearly 12 years. Greece winning it. They were 3,000 to 1 beforehand.
3,000 to 1.
And Greece went on to win the entire tournament, and that just goes to show like the unlikelihood.
So they were 3,000 to 1 before the qualifiers or before the actual tournament itself.
I
was going to say.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they beat the host Portugal, didn't they, in the final?
I mean, we're going back a long way here, but the way that they got they actually qualified was by luck, I believe. I think a team got disqualified and therefore Greece got put through by default. And then they went on to win the whole thing.
And it's funny because when you go to Greece, there's just shrines to the Euros of 04 everywhere. You can't really blame them, can you? Because they finished bottom of their qualifying group 12 years on.
Can you name one player from that Greece side? I mean, I can name probably 3 or 4.
Angelos Karasteas scored the winner, didn't he, against Portugal?
There's Bassinas, who was a midfielder, Nicopolidis.
That's another example of a tournament, though, where the stage was set. Portugal, I mean, going into that final, I doubt one Portugal fan was ever in doubt that they were going to lose that.
I bet they thought they got through the semi-final and saw that they got Greece in the final. Yes,
the script is written there. Home tournament.
Yeah. I don't think they've ever really recovered, especially in the last few years.
Exactly.
I think Portugal's squad was better now than it was. They're over-reliant on Ronaldo. I watched them play Armenia in qualifying, and they were 2-1 down, and Ronaldo just had to completely bail them out. He's had to do it far too many times. They finished fourth at the 2006 World Cup at Germany, I believe. They lost to the hosts, Germany, and that's about the pinnacle of how far they've got really. And since then, they haven't really fully recovered.
I mean, they only got through by luck, really. Obviously, they had to do it the hard way through the playoffs. Before we move away from the Euros and concentrate more on Football League, do you want to think about a potential dark horse? I'm going to come to you first, Tom. I want to know your dark horse, your team that you think might surprise a few.
They've got probably the easiest group, but maybe Austria. David Alaba, Arnautovic, good players.
Yeah.
Turkey got the potential to do something.
I think that's a tough group. Group D: Spain, Czech Republic, Turkey, Croatia. Especially if you'd have thought 10 years ago. Obviously, maybe not a team now, but 10 years ago, could you imagine how strong that group was with the likes of obviously Pavel Nedved at Czech Republic and.
When you look at it as a whole, you kind of appreciate how tough our group is.
Yeah.
When you compare it to Group D and F, we've got a tough group.
Yeah.
That top 3 are 3 very good international sides.
So Austria is your dark horse. What about you, Dan? Who do you think is going to spring a few surprises?
Yeah, I think Tom makes a good point with Austria. They've got some promising players, and I think Group F is probably the most open group out there on paper. You look at Turkey. I remember them in Euro 2008. They made the semi-finals,
and third, didn't they?
Şemi Şentürk scored late goals in about 3 rounds in a row. But they're playing. So obviously they're playing
down
Spain.
Against Czech Republic, so Czech Republic will be out to get revenge, because that was 2008 when Czech Republic thought that they'd beat them, and Turkey came back and won 3-2 in the last minute, and that was them.
Croatia, they played in the quarterfinals, and Croatia scored in the last minute, and Turkey went out the other end with the last kick. I remember
Slaven Bilic running onto the pitch thinking the referee had blown his whistle, and 30 seconds later,
Şemi goes and bangs in a volley, and they went on penalties. Croatia were so shell shocked at the time, but and Spain, they'll be out to avenge their terrible World Cup. But I think Spain will go through. I think Turkey can go through with them.
Obviously something to look forward to, the Euros being so close to England as well. Obviously, hopefully I'm going to make the journey and see it myself. But as we move from the Euros onto the Football League, we're going to talk to Tom a bit more about it now. I was at the Bramall Lane Stadium on Sunday to watch Coventry against Sheffield United, and it was a game of a lot of injustice, you could say. It should have been Coventry's win, and to say that Coventry came away from the game with 0 points is a massive shock. Coventry is still there or thereabouts this season, and I really think that they're still going to go up. But Tom, do you really think that Coventry are going to stay there, or do you think they'll slip away?
I think the interesting thing about League One this season is, if you look at the top 4, we've got Burton, Coventry, Walsall, Gillingham. All 4 have a reason to drop off.
Yeah.
We've had a lot of criticism this season, Coventry, about our loan players and that they're the only ones performing for us. We've not got the most loan players, not anywhere near. I think we played 2 in the starting lineup against Sheffield United.
Yeah, you've just got the best loan player.
We've just got the best loan players. That's why we're getting the criticism. Yeah. Adam Armstrong, he's a big talking point.
Yeah, obviously.
We spoke about him, obviously, didn't we?
Yeah, we spoke about him. I saw him firsthand at the weekend, and he showed glimpses of brilliance.
Player, Anyway, carry on, Tom.
Newcastle, do they want him back? Is he ready to go back? He's banging in goals at the minute, so do Newcastle move him away from somewhere where he's doing that? Is that going to damage him? We've seen players like that where they do that and they never recover. Burton Albion, they've lost Jimmy Floyd-Hasselbank.
Yeah. Didn't seem to bother them at the weekend though. Obviously turning Gillingham over at 3-0.
But for me, I don't think that squad's got the quality to take a title. Walsall lost Dean Smith.
Yeah, another manager gone.
And Gillingham, Bradley Dack has been huge for them, and he looks like he's leaving in January. So all the top 4 really have got reasons to drop off. Another interesting point with this is Coventry are now linked that Mowbray's leaving to Fulham, apparently.
Yeah.
Smith left Walsall, Dean Saunders left Chesterfield.
Yeah.
They really dropped off now. When he was there, they were challenging for the playoffs.
Yeah.
And I mean, if we look at the table now, they're right down to 17th, just in
a
matter of 3 games.
You want to make a point about how hard it is for a League One side that's in form to keep hold of the manager.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Because we've got 3 or 4 players that are getting interest off bigger clubs.
Yeah.
The manager's getting interest off bigger clubs.
I mean, we talk about it a lot, don't we, about how you can dip into League One, League Two to get these types of players for so cheap, but how much of an impact that has on the team itself and on the player himself. To say, for example, if Adam Armstrong was to leave Coventry to go back to Newcastle and sit on the bench, the effects that that'll have on the player and the club as well on Coventry, that might be the difference between Coventry going up or staying in the same division.
I think players from League 1 and 2 are sort of split up into two sort of unwritten categories. You have players that dip between the Football League and the non-league, and they struggle to really sort of make the cut, and it's very rare that they'll become that sort of player that dips between the Premier League and the Championship and drops down into League 1 occasionally, that sort of thing. But Tom, do you think that, I want to ask you this, the jump between League 1 and League 2, do you think the jump between Championship and League 1 is a lot higher and a lot more difficult to make?
I don't think so. I think the gap between 1 and Championship is smaller than 1 and 2, in my opinion. In recent years, a lot of teams have gone up and then challenged straight away.
Southampton, Bournemouth.
Not that there's not a big gap between 1 and 2.
Yeah.
That's a very close league. And I think all 3 football leagues are close. The real gap comes then between Championship and Premier League.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Another good example of these players moving up to leagues, it seems like when they get to the Championship, that's their limit. Players like Jordan Rhodes, why hasn't he been given a shot yet in the Premier League with everything he's doing? Charlie Austin's not in the Premier League for some reason, and he cut it in the Premier League.
He scored twice last night after coming off the bench.
Exactly.
I can't see him staying beyond the next few weeks at QPR, to be honest.
I think you make a brilliant point there, and I really think the importance of keeping all personnel goes far beyond the players. I think a lot of it is to do with managers and other staff as well. Me being a Leeds fan, we knew the importance of keeping hold of Neil Redfern, who now has a job at Rotherham. It was just the head of academy, but he kept everyone together, and he was a link between the academy, which was so brilliant in the past few years. Alex Mowat, Lewis Cook, Sam Byram, Charlie Taylor, all coming through, to name a few. All been linked with big moves. Charlie Taylor linked to Man United, Byram linked to pretty much every club in the country. Mowat's linked to Newcastle, Cook's linked to Liverpool, all the rest of it. That were down to one man, that was Neil Redfern, and we had to let him go because of our chairman. It is so important to keep hold of this type of personnel. Especially in this type of league, Championship, League 1, even down to League 2. But as we were talking about the Coventry situation, like I said at the start of the debate, I think that Coventry will go up. Based on last week's result, obviously to lose 1-0 is a shocker, but they put in a performance away from home that showed that they have the quality to go up. And I want to ask you now, Tom, if you go up, whether it's playoffs, second, top of the league, where do you think Coventry will finish next year?
Well, firstly, I agree. I think we will go up. I think that defeats like Sunday don't affect title winners. No one misses out on titles by luck.
No.
If we're going to do it, we need to do enough to do it with games like that, involved in the run. Yeah. If we go up, it completely depends on how we do in the summer with signings. I think the squad we've got now could do mid-table to challenging in the Championship.
Yeah.
I think it's a very good squad with players like Jacob Murphy, but he's not going to be there next season.
Yeah.
Adam Armstrong, he's not going to be there next season.
Yeah, that's true.
They're both going to not evolve, but they're going to improve.
When I went on Sunday, I saw one player that stood out, and that was Ramirez.
He's not had many games like that, to be fair to him. He had a fantastic game.
He showed, obviously brought off in about 75th minute, he showed enough potential in that game to make me stand up and take notice and think, wow, he is a player. And if he plays to that potential again, even though he got clattered in the first half by, was it Jay McEverly? And how he wasn't sent off, I'll never know. But for Coventry to lose that game was a massive injustice, and they deserved 3 points, if not. Well, they deserved a point, if not 3.
I think Ramirez knew the Sky cameras were there, to be honest. He's not put in a shift like that for a while. Yeah. It seemed with his performances this season, he burst into the scene and was fantastic. and then he sort of lost confidence a little bit.
I think Armstrong's similar. I think he's just burst straight onto the scene, and he just doesn't know when to stop. And that's just, I think it all comes down to confidence.
I don't think people knew how good he was. I think he came into League One, and in his first game, started banging them in. And I think he thought then, I'm so much better than this league.
Yeah.
There's no stopping me. I can see them moving him to Championship, I think, in January. Well, Steve McLaren said he wants him to stay at Cov all season.
Yeah.
But that's obviously going to pivot on how long McLaren's at Newcastle.
But would it benefit, obviously, this might be biased towards you being a Cov fan wanting to keep hold of him, but would it benefit him more as a player to get experience at a better level? Playing against teams such as Derby and Middlesbrough instead of teams like Crewe and Oldham?
I think it would, but he's got to be managed. I don't know if throwing him straight away into the Championship.
And do you think he'll start regular as well? That's the question.
Obviously, I guess you never know until you do it.
Championship sides of the strikers that they've given them the faith at the start of the season, and they want to keep them there for the duration to try and build up a bit of form. But for Armstrong to leave Coventry and go to a team in the Championship, maybe it might cause disruption for the player itself and for the rest of the team. I think if Coventry keep hold of Armstrong, I think he'll go up regardless. I think he's such an important player. We've got the stats up now. He scored 13 this season in 21 games, which is just ridiculous at that level. Only Paddy Madden is in double figures as well, on 10 at Scunthorpe, and then from that it goes down to Bradshaw at Walsall all the way down. At the minute he's pretty much untouchable, and he's been valuable to Coventry's form. Obviously unbeaten at home, the only unbeaten home record in the division. As well as Armstrong, and obviously you touched upon Murphy and a little bit about Ramirez. How important is our players such as John Fleck and players that don't really get the limelight as much?
Huge.
Yeah.
I think Roman Vincelo is one of the best signings we've had.
I've always
in
liked Vincelo.
So many seasons.
I'll rate him as well.
He is an absolute anchor. He's dependable. You can always rely on him to be there. Our back four is fantastic this season as well. We've kind of got 4 centre backs in a way.
Yeah, I know it's
Stokes is a left
well.
back, but he's not built like a left back.
Yeah,
he's built like a centre back. And then we've got Ben Turner, much higher than this level.
Yeah,
we did have Reeder Johnson, higher than this level.
Yeah, Reeder Johnson, brilliant.
Sam Ricketts at right back, another centre back playing right back.
He's got Premier League experience.
Exactly. We've got a fantastic defence. Our 2 holding players, Fleck and Vincelo, if you can call Fleck a holding player.
Yeah, he was brilliant.
Commanding players.
Yeah. He were a leader, and that's what you need in that league. You need someone to.
Yeah, we've got the best squad.
I think you've got the best squad.
You can't compare it. You look at teams like Barnsley. I think they've got a fantastic squad. They're 21st.
Yeah, that's the thing though. You've got to look all across this division. Your teams such as your Wiggins that you expect to be there, and I think they will be there. The 10 points adrift at the minute, but I think they will definitely be there coming the end of the season, regardless. I've always thought that Doncaster would be there or thereabouts come the end of the season as well. I don't think this will be their year, but I think they will improve gradually. Sheffield United were beyond poor at the weekend.
They were woeful.
And to say that they took the 3 points is a massive shocker. I can't see them staying anywhere close to the playoffs at all. I think they'll... to start Connor Salmon is just... It's got to be a crime in football, surely. But he was really, really poor. There was a moment in about the 60th minute where he won his first header of the game, and the ironic cheers that came from the Bramall Lane.
It was the only time we heard the fans.
Yeah, it was probably the only time that Sheffield United made a noise other than the goal.
Is Billy Sharp fit?
Yeah, Sharp's fit. He's the one that scored. I didn't know much
bench.
about it, but he scored. But I did say before he came on that the one player that's going to score for Sheffield United is Billy Sharp.
Yeah,
he came
he's a
on,
born
he
goal
scored.
scorer.
I didn't think it'd be like that though. I mean,
I know.
How do you describe it? It's not a deflection, but it's easy. No, it's in him.
Yeah.
I think one team that I've been looking at since the start of the season is Bury.
Yeah.
They've not spent a lot, but their squad's very good. They've got Leon Clark,
Spent well, haven't they?
Danny
Efficient.
Mayer. They've got a good squad.
Yeah.
They beat us at Gig Lane, and they win games. They don't play amazingly. They don't put the ball on the floor and outplaying them on the league, but they win games.
Yeah.
Similar to what Sheffield United did, to be fair to us.
Yeah. And that might be the difference between being a mid-table club rotting away in League One, bottom of League One, to actually get in there and get into the big-time Championship, all the rest of it. We're kind of running out of time now, but I want just your prediction, Tom. As we finish on League One, do you think? Obviously, you said that you think Coventry are going to go up. Who do you think is going to go up with you, and why?
It's hard not to look at Wigan.
Yeah, I agree.
It's hard not to look at Bury after what I've just said. I think Bury can challenge, but then again, I think they're on a knife edge as to whether they could flop and come 12th as well. It's a tough league. There's a lot of teams of similar quality. And like I said earlier, the guys you're looking at the top now can all drop off.
Yeah.
And they've all got a very good reason to drop off.
It's the importance of keeping your players fit.
Burton have pulled a lead. I don't think they'll hold it. I don't think they'll go up. I think they'll get playoffs and fall there. I think Wigan.
Wigan, yeah. And as well, you Dan. What's your prediction? Do you think Coventry will go up?
I do think they'll go up.
Oh,
I think they're probably the biggest dead cert in the top 6. I'll be honest, but it's Peterborough are a bit of a yo-yo club. I've been surprised by them. Liango, he's come from non-league, on loan in non-league, and now he's getting his chance. He's taken it very well. Wigan, I watched them against Barnsley in the Johnston's Paint Trophy. They weren't very convincing, but one game don't define a season, because you could say, oh yeah, Coventry lost at the weekend as well. But as for Burton, losing Hasselbank, I think it was a blow to them. If they kept him, I think they would have gone up. But Walsall, Gillingham, I'll say Peterborough.
It's tough, isn't it? It's really tough. And we've not mentioned Millwall at all.
No, we haven't. I think they'll make the playoffs.
On day one, you'd have been saying Millwall to go straight back up.
Yeah, but you'd have said the same thing about Sheffield United.
Oh, complete. And
it's so tight all the way down to that.
And
all the way in that
I
top
thought
half.
Doncaster as well, and even Chesterfield should be there. This is such a topsy-turvy league that you just can't.
That's what's great about the Football League.
Yeah,
and now the Premier League's starting to become like that as well.
Yeah, it's brilliant.
You can't rule out Bradford
Best
either.
In the world.
Bradford always.
Bradford are always there by the end. Yeah.
There's so many teams that could, and there's only 6 places.
You could probably get a better prediction picking names out of a hat, to be honest. But I'll say Coventry and Peterborough top 2.
Yeah. I'm going to go for Coventry and Walsall. I think Walsall are good enough as well, as long as they stay fit. But yeah, might as well end it there.
Yep.
It's been good to discuss the Football League. Thanks for coming in, Tom.
Thank you.
Obviously, plenty to look forward to. We've got one more episode to be released around Christmas time that we're going to record this week. Thanks a lot for listening, and we'll see you all later.
Bye for now.